For more on this, we are joined by Emmanuel Samura, who was there and is right now here with us in the studios. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Yes, good morning, and Mayatu, and also good morning, viewers.
So, first of all, tell us what was the atmosphere like, and give us a breakdown of the National Delegates Conference elections.
Okay, before going to the atmosphere, let me just give a breakdown of the results according to how it was announced by the IMOC, which is the electoral committee that was set up by the SLPP to conduct these particular elections. And the election was a 2-day conference, and in which in these 2 days elections were conducted for 13 positions, and the first day 6 positions elections were conducted for 6 positions, and the second day, which is yesterday, elections were conducted for 7 positions, and we have over 59 people, if I can say, that contested for all of these 13 positions, and amongst these over 59 people or so, and we have 13 people that emerge as winners of the different positions. Well, for the national chairman position, 2 people contested this particular position, and Engineer Amara Kane got 396 votes, and Jimmy Batilo Sunga got 618 votes. So Jimmy Batilo Sunga emerged as the national chairman elect of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Then for the deputy national chairman position, 4 people contested for this position, and Abu Abu got 195 votes, Alhaji Alpha Kalon got 210 votes, Honorable Veronica Kadisise got 265 votes, and Robert Ondema Kagbo got 380 votes. So Robert Ondema Kagbo was named the deputy national chairman of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Well, for the Secretary General's position, and 5 people contested in these particular positions. And among the 5 people, we have Philip Tetema Tondone, who got 9 votes, Robert Chakanda got 37 votes, and Fatima Takaitibi got 54 votes, Sajo Aziz Kamara got 101 votes, and Paran Tawali got 849 votes. So it was a very great margin when Paran was named the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Well, from the Secretary General's position, we go over to the Deputy Secretary General's position, where 9 people contested for this position, and Sheku Muni Ture got 268 votes, and Jennifer Lai Thompson got 264 votes. And this was a close contest, and Jennifer Lai was unable to hold it. She started crying because she lost to just 4 votes. She lost 4 votes, and for the deputy organizing secretary, 8 people contested, but Marwa Aliu came out as a winner with 399 votes. And for the organizing secretary, Alassane George emerged as the winner. And for the public relations officer position, 6 people contested, but Moses Mambu emerged as the winner with 718 votes. For the treasurer position, 2 people contested, but Judith Kose got 546 votes, so she became the treasurer of the SLPP. Well, for internal auditor, 3 people contested, but Augustine JJ Tome got 609 votes. For the financial secretary position, 2 people contested, Samuel Shaka Sano with 524 votes, and Patrick Jibera with 521 votes. So you see, this particular one was also a very close one, and Patrick Jibera lost by 3 votes. He lost by 3 votes. And for the Shaka Samuel Sano got 524, and he became the new financial secretary of the SLPP. So from the financial secretary, we go over to the imam. For the imam position, 4 people contested for this position, and Al-Haji Fuad Umar Sharif emerged as the winner with 575 votes. From the imam, we go over to the chaplain position. For the chaplain position, 4 people contested, but Smart K Senesi got won by 402 votes. So Smart K Senesi is the chaplain of the SLPP. And from the chaplain, we go over to the legal advisors of the SLPP. Well, for the legal advisors, we have Anthony Briwa, he got 519 votes, and Ibrahim Faya Sawane got 266 votes. Indolo Gevao got 333 votes. Alpha Sise got 471 votes. So Anthony Briwa becomes the legal one of the SLPP, and Alpha Sise becomes the legal 2, and Indolo Gevao becomes the legal 3 of the SLPP. This is how they made up this lineup. So these are the names. This is the breakdown. This is a breakdown of the election results according to the Electoral Management Committee that was set up by the SLPP to run the elections for this their 14th National Delegates Conference that was held in the Tumani Conference Center in Freetown.
So all of these numbers are here, for some positions the numbers are high, some other positions numbers are low. How many delegates were qualified to vote, would you say?
Well, the delegates, the list of the number of delegates, it was 1,081 delegates. But when I was listening to the IMOC chairman, not all of the positions. Some position is only, some position you have 1,010 people that will vote. Some position you have 1,054. So it varied. This was how the results came out, just like this.
Okay, so what does this mean for the Sierra Leone People's Party now that they have this new set of delegates for people?
So when you look at everything, before now we are, they had this so much of anticipation. Who becomes the next chairman? So I believe this particular one has started setting pace for them to face the next national election, which is the 2028 elections, because them, electing their new national officers, it's one step, to the 2028 elections, because after this one, they will have to go again for their flag bearer. But these national positions, for example, for the national chairman position, it had that much of attention. It had that much of attention, and it was the only position. From what I observed in the hall for the past 2 days that we were there, it was the only position that had that much of attention where, the side talks, this is about politics. There was this song that the outgoing chairman of the SLPP, Dr. Prince Alex Adin, brought up where he said, you also. So this song, this song made the day. Even yesterday, the day before yesterday, the 30th, when Dr. Prince Alex Adin started singing that song, and he said, you kokoro. So everybody, even the public, was wondering, who was he referring to? Was he referring to the Jimmy Batilo Songa, or was he referring to Amara Jambai? So, but when we were within the hall, some people knew who he was referring to. But that song made the day for the conference, because even on the second day when the president and the vice president came up, they started all of it with just about dancing, and the first song that the DJ played was Yukokowosu. So it made the day. The chairman set the position, set the pace, but the chairmanship position was the most contested, because it had that type of tension.
So definitely that was the atmosphere of especially the second day.
The second day, yes. Because in fact the first day was just opening, and the positions that we have voted for, and the elections that we have conducted, even though people voted in that they voted on the first day, but it did not have that much of a tension as compared to the second day. The second day. But when I say tension, and because there was a point in time when someone called me saying that, Emmanuel, we saw on social media that they started firing tear gas canisters and all of sorts. I said, who said that one? I said, because I'm here, nothing has happened. No one fired any tear gas canister. Who said that they are fired? He said, but I saw it on social media. I said, what? Nothing nothing is happening here. Everybody's
so
voting.
Basically, it was peaceful.
No, they basically, to a large extent, largely, the process, the particular place was peaceful. It was peaceful, you know, because there were so many security and the party activities were ongoing. You know, when you have that what you call intra-party politics, when it is ongoing, those side talks is something that you cannot shy away from. These are going to come up. People are going to provoke you just to spite their opponents. So this was what happened there.
So before I let you go, what was the main message of Jimmy Batilosunga?
Well, when Jimmy Batilosunga came up, you know, he joined his acceptance speech. He said, "Thank you to the delegates of the SLPP for choosing a positive radical that is coming or that has come to make the APC stay in permanent opposition." That was his message, one of his key messages. And then the other message that Jimmy Batilo sent out was caring for the welfare of their party supporters. You know, he said, "I am going to ensure that we mobilize funds for, you know, microcredit scheme for our women. I am going to ensure that I advocate for scholarship for our young people. I am going to ensure that we put in place different schemes to support our party supporters." So these were the things that he said. And also the way Battle was doing it, it was also some kind of preaching peace, you know, bridging the divide. You know, so this was what these were its two messages, which is, you know, caring for the welfare of the party people, and then telling the party people that you did not make a mistake to choose me because I am coming as a positive radical to make the APC stays in permanent opposition, or I am going to win. I'll do everything in my power to win the 2028 election. And he also emphasized that he is going to work under the directive and the leadership of their current national leader, which is the President Julius Maada Bio.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel Samora, for that breakdown of the SLPP National Conference and choosing their delegates, and congratulations to all the winners. Now, moving on to our next story. The Youth in Politics and Peace Building project has phased out with a significant achievement after 2 years of successful implementation in 5 districts. It was designed to foster social cohesion and dialogue for women, youth, and persons with disability through their involvement in the civic engagement at national and community levels, funded by UN Peace Building Fund. At the project close-out meeting in Freetown, implementing partners, Catholic Relief Service, and Caritas presented some of their achievements to stakeholders, beneficiaries, and the donor. Ibrahim Samora tells us more.
Over the past 2 years, Youth in Politics and Peace Building project created safe spaces for youth to engage in politics constructively, strengthen their capacity in entrepreneurship and leadership, civic responsibilities, and provided beneficiaries with vocational training. During implementation also, the program was able to foster dialogue, reconciliation, and building trust within communities. According to the acting project director, Youth in Politics and Peace Building Project, CRS, Fatimata Bangura, key achievements include enhanced participation and representation of youths in governance and decision-making. Youths, including women and PWDs, were engaged in diversified livelihoods, capacitated youths to mitigate conflicts and promote social cohesion. Country Representative Catholic Police Services was impressed by the project impact, stating it has helped to change the lives of the youths in the targeted districts and foster social cohesion.
Impact is tangible. We can see the life that has been changed, mainly among the youth. I met and discussed with young women, young ladies, and many of the project participants. And for us, we are proud of the result because it meets our expectation.
Alex Sifai Makavori from Caritas Sierra Leone said the project's success was a testament to their collective dedication and collaboration, noting that they have achieved significant milestones in addressing critical issues related to youth engagement in peacebuilding. The UN Peacebuilding Fund Secretariat Coordinator in Sierra Leone, Irene Limo, said the program sets out two broad visions: youth participation in political process peacefully and contribute to peaceful peace-building initiatives in communities. The project, noted, resonated with the UN resolutions on promoting peace and security and women's participation in governance and decision-making processes, noting she was moved by the tremendous successes in the last 2 years of the project implementation phase. Jane Kamara from Monkey Bush community was one of the beneficiaries.
So because of this project, we told them, we went out there, we spoke to our colleagues, and today there are lots of testimony.
Other speakers appreciated the number of achievements and lauded the UN Peacebuilding Fund for the support to the youths of Sierra Leone. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
On Wednesday, 30th July this year, the PWD community experienced a devastating flooding that resulted in the destruction of numerous houses and properties. This unexpected natural disaster has left residents grappling with the aftermath as they face significant losses. Abubakar Kamara has more on this report.
Over a period of 8 hours, the flooding at PWD community was said to be triggered by a combination of heavy rainfall and improper drainage systems. As a result, the streets, the gutters were all submerged and the water levels rose rapidly and destroyed residents' homes, properties and businesses. Families and community youth scrambled to rescue the belongings of victims as water entered their homes. Initial assessments indicate that over 6 houses and other structures were severely damaged or completely destroyed. Fode Kanu, the head of a renowned carpentry workshop at PWD, explained how the floods destroyed his tools and other important materials.
Due to the heavy rains, some of the boys that sleeps in the cars and the workshop were all carried away by the heavy downpour, but we are later rescued.
When we watch, they see motor car inside. The motor car come up from the garage. They can block the gutter. The water drift for them.
Fatou Sise, a resident at the PWD community, expressed her concern and dissatisfaction, pointing fingers to some factors leading to the unfortunate incident.
Every year, the rain destroys my house and properties, but this year is really worse because of the way and manner some of the houses were built, and also when a car got stuck at the entrance of my house.
Small retaining and they don't make for Lewis.
Because of the heavy rains, we, the youth of the community, have constructed a retaining wall to stop and help prevent the destruction of the water, and we need the help of the government to build better drainage for us in the community.
But by we self might not go easy. We need government self for help. Then we can put hand for lay this particular destruction we can face it, so stop.
The situation of flooding, like other places in Freetown recently, was a clear call on SLIA to expand drainages where they should, and for people to stop depositing waste into waterways that usually led to overflow of water. For SLBC News in Freetown, Abubakar Kamara reporting.
President Julius Maada Bio says that the 14th National Delegates Conference of the Sierra Leone People's Party is more than just a meeting. It is a defining moment for the party's future and leadership. He made the statement at the Bintumani Conference Center in Aberdeen, Freetown, during the opening ceremony. Party members, supporters and delegates from across Sierra Leone and abroad gathered to reflect, strategize and recommit to the SLPP's mission. Our senior State House correspondent for Almost Syria has more details.
The SLPP 14th National Delegates Conference turned the Bintamani Conference Center into a sea of green. It wasn't just a meeting, it was a reunion of royal party members. SLPP National Chairman Dr. Prince Alex Harding praised supporters for their commitments. He admitted the party faced challenges but said the leadership remained focused on delivering development goals. Dr. Harding said the conference would showcase more of what President Bio has already done for the party.
The Bio era is not an exception. Prior to the 2018 elections, betrayals and personal agendas caused SLPP to split into two. The other headed by myself and the other by some Manga boy. So Manao Kape. Marado survival, it was survive really. But Bio brought us together, not even as flag bearer.
President Julius Maada Bio hailed the party's unity and discipline, especially during internal elections. He said there were no losers, only SLPP winners, and urged continued collaboration. President Bio encouraged the executive to remain peaceful and unity.
This conference is more than just a national executive election conference. It is a moment to define the future of a party that has always been in the building of democracy in Sierra Leone. As our founding leaders, Slbc Tv once said, and I quote, "We must all do our duty and work for the unity of our country. We must work together in mutual understanding, respect and tolerance." End of quote. Let us honor that call. Let us choose our leaders wisely.
He made a bold declaration. The SLPP will break records by winning a third straight election.
Leadership is not about age or title.
SLPP Secretary General Omo Napoleon Kuruma expressed gratitude for the support he received, especially from President Bio during his tenure. The goodwill extended beyond the SLPP. The All People's Congress acting chairman, Ambassador Usman Yansane, praised the SLPP for holding a well-organized conference and reaffirmed commitment to democratic cooperation. From the All Political Parties Association, Secretary General Ibrahim Sise thanked President Bio for his leadership and pledged continued support to the government. The National Delegates Conference continues with elections and closed-door sessions through Thursday. For SLBC TV News in Freetown, how must be reporting.
The International Organization for Migration, IOM, and the Environment Protection Agency, EPA, have ended a national stakeholder consultative engagement on a study that is aimed at addressing vulnerabilities due to climate change in coastal communities, using the Plantain and Yeliboya Islands as case study. The study shows that urgent action is needed to mitigate the effects of climate change facing coastal communities, and Moses Conte was there and now reports.
The Plantain and Yeliboya are two different islands located along vulnerable coastal zones with over 5,000 inhabitants respectively. But over the years, there have been numerous problems such as land degradation, erosion and flooding. These environmental issues have accelerated due to rising sea levels, changing precipitation patterns and unsustainable land use practice. However, according to the focal person, Climate Action International Organization of Migration, Moses Koroma, their visibility study shows that those challenges are due to natural and human activities which has been going on these islands.
But then the entire so we don't find out say the areas of people that they live near water or on the island inside water, they get a lot of challenges with their livelihood, with climate change, with water, with their ambogren, boku in the happy. And then they ambog them people that they live in their community then too much.
The Chief Director, Environmental Protection Agency, Sheku Kone, said EPA has been working around the coastal communities while supporting development partners to curtail issues related to climate change.
This problem, is it subsidence? Is it sea level rise? Is it coastal erosion that is really affecting our islands? And subsidence means the island, they really sink, like they go underwater. Of course, sea level rise, where the water, they go above a normal level where it been they stop. Or water, they can clear all the sand and the dirty and go with that. That's the erosion. But the resources and the technicality were involved in it too much.
The IOM officer in charge in Sierra Leone, Dr. Pauline Makaya, warned that if action was not taken, these coastal communities will become a story.
So it's not by accident that IOM and the EPA partner to see how we can address some of the vulnerabilities that are in Plantain and Yeliboya, which I also believe are not unique to these islands and coastal communities, but that we can replicate some of the solutions and some of the tailor-made recommendations that the study will come up with to address the vulnerabilities that are caused by climate change in Sierra Leone.
The story revealed that both Plantain and Yeliboya, predominantly fishing communities, face a future of limited infrastructure, healthcare facilities, poor roads and drainages. The report, however, suggested for good infrastructure for markets, school and places for religious gatherings, which we are seen as a reason for the cutting of mangroves and sand mining, as well as provision of cold room for fish. Moses Conte, SLBC.
In a move to improve local investment opportunities, the National Investment Board has been mapping and designing public-private dialogue with partners to support the development and implementation of the One-Stop Shop Center for Investment in the country. The theme for the dialogue is building a smarter OSSC, which means One-Stop Shop Center, business environment accelerating business entry through collaborative reform. Suleiman Babatori witnessed the dialogue session at the Freetown City Council and now reports.
Is it going to be centralized only in Freetown, or you're going to have the same one-stop shop center in all the NIB offices cut across the county or just in Freetown?
The dialogue session brought together government stakeholders and investment partners, and according to the Deputy Executive Director, National Investment Board, Mahawa Sandi, the engagement aimed to create a predictable, transparent and efficient environment where business can start and grow with confidence. She said the one-stop shop center model was central, serving as the front line for entrepreneurs and investors experiencing the country's regulatory framework. The Deputy Executive Director said that despite significant progress, they still face challenges on redundant procedures, limited automation, coordination gaps among institutions, and inconsistent service delivery which affect the ease of doing business. The session, she added, aimed to identify priority reform actions, foster interagency collaboration, and strengthen their partnership with the private sector.
And just to inform this body, this workshop has taken place both in Bow and in McKinney. We are bringing the conversation to the people. We're not just sitting around the table having conversations just amongst us at the center, but it's important for us to ensure that even the last man and the last mile understands the importance of the One Social Center.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice said business facilitation was central on how the country delivers on economic empowerment, job creation, and national competitiveness. Alpha Cissé said before the establishment of the National Investment Board, Sierra Leone's investment environment was clouded by fragmented procedures and bureaucracy. He said the National Investment Board, through the One-Stop Shop initiative, could become an indispensable pillar to simplify registration, harmonize agency procedures, and create an investor-friendly environment.
As Attorney General, my office is firmly committed to reviewing and modernizing the laws governing business operations in Sierra Leone. Outdated and conflicting provisions must be addressed. Regulatory clarity and investor protection must be reinforced, and the One-Stop Shop Center must be backed by enabling legislation that ensures sustainability.
The session focused on interagency coordination and data sharing, digitalization of registration and licenses platforms, legal institutional reforms, empowerment of SMEs and public awareness, and capacity building and feedback mechanisms. SLBC News, Saman Babatu reporting.
Parliament has passed into law the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2025. It makes additional provisions for the service of Sierra Leone for the year of 2025. The House also ratified the financing agreement between the European Commission and the government of Sierra Leone for sustainable food and agricultural value chain development in Sierra Leone. Dennis Fraser is SLBC's parliamentary correspondent and now reports.
And the bill entitled the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2025.
Presenting the supplementary budget to the House for enactment, the Minister of Finance, Sheku Fantamadi Bangura, noted that the reasons for the supplementary budget were to improve the economy and address global shocks and uncertainties, among other economic reasons.
Members' inflation declined steadily from 54.5% in October 2023 to 13.8% in December 2024. Inflation continued to decline in 2025, reaching a single digit of 7.1% in June 2020.
Members of Parliament across the aisle were examining the immense benefits of the supplementary budget, used the opportunity to draw the attention of the Minister of Finance on why the reduction in allocation to key revenue-generating ministries.
If the revenues have been collected properly, we must probably even overstep the projections. But definitely there is a problem with that. And without those monies being collected, it will be very, very difficult for the government, for the Ministry of Finance, to disburse the monies actually allocated.
Critical units that you don't understand, you don't underform, like agriculture. Agriculture has the tendency to stimulate growth in other sectors. When you serve agriculture, you serve education. When you serve agriculture, you serve health. When you serve agriculture, you serve almost you supplement the economy.
Crowning the debate, both the leader of government business, Honorable Matthew Sanyuma, and leader of the opposition, Honorable Abdul Kagbo, had a heated debate on the credibility of the budget and slashing down capital expenditure as a reverse of austerity measures.
This budget is a clear case of government trying to cut down their expenditure, government trying to ensure that they reduce their expenditure, but because of the utterances they have made on austerity measures, they have decided to give it another nomenclature. A synonym. Exactly.
In bringing supplementary budget, it's not because we are afraid of what is happening. It's to push in where our challenges are, and we can be able to meet out what we can solve at the short possible time. That's why it's coming 6 months down the line. And he has explained what is the target. Allocated figures can also be reviewed.
In another development, MPs also ratified the €35 million financing agreement between the European Commission and the government of Sierra Leone for sustainable food and agriculture value chain development. The grant is intended to boosting productivity through mechanization. There is a 5-year scope in growing cassava, infant food and others. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
The Gold Lion Mining Company in Nimikor, Chiefdom Kono district has been discovered to be one of the establishments in violation of local content laws in Sierra Leone. This was made known during an ongoing local content compliance auditing exercise by the Sierra Leone Local Content Agency. Emmanuel Samora went along and came out with this report.
Local content agency's arrival was like a torch that shed light on the dark areas of Gold Lion Mining Company's violation of local content laws. The light started shining during the introduction when it was discovered that all of the top management staff of the company were Chinese nationals who rely on an interpreter to communicate with the Sierra Leonean staff and visitors. After several hours of the auditing exercise by the local content team, it was realized that Gold Lion Mining Company lacks documents or evidence to prove its adherence to the country's local content laws.
Also, no records for local content management team engagements. Because remember, in the local content plan that you submitted, that was approved, you must have committed to it that this is your local content management team. It's expected that that team should be meeting periodically.
It was also discovered that the company has done little or nothing in terms of corporate social responsibility activities, skills transfer and training for local staff, among others.
The amount of CSR presented as expenditure is not considered as CSR in this case. Which one? For instance, I assume this is in dollar, not leons. Yes. $5,000 was given to the Ministry of Mines. We don't consider that as CSR. As support for Canada.
On the sidelines of the auditing exercise, it was also realized that the company has been marginalizing the local staff. This situation prompted the Director General of the Local Content Agency, Fudeba Dabo, to assure the locals of affirmative actions that would change the situation on the ground for them.
I want to assure the cross-section of you that are here today on behalf of the locals that the Local Content Agency want to assure you that if what was happening that was then were effective immediately, we will ensure that change comes to this company, Gold Lion Mining Company.
Operating in Nimikor Chiefdom Kono district, the Chinese-owned Gold Lion Mining Company is into gold mining activities. Emmanuel Samoa, SLBC.
The Teaching Service Commission, TSC, has asked the Ministry of Finance to investigate over 4,000 teachers across for what the Commission deemed as negligence of duty. TCS spokesperson Jamie Victory Sanko disclosed more to SLBC's Cynthia Kamara in this interview.
In that letter, it is clearly stated that we got to that number as a result of mass legislation and verification that the Commission did. Way back in March and April of 2025, we did a nationwide legislation of all teachers in the country, whether in public schools or government schools, and we also did a verification of teachers, especially those on the government payroll. So we, of course, targeted a wide range of numbers. We covered over 40,000 teachers that are currently in the classroom within the county. So that was how we got to a number, quite a huge number, that are on the payroll but were not verified during that process.
Okay, so someone might ask that 1 month to do verification nationwide. Someone might be doubting maybe the time wasn't enough for you to arrive at that particular amount of having over 4,000 unverified teachers.
Okay, yeah, that's a legitimate concern, but I also want to draw attention of the public to the process that we used. So what we did was we ensured to recruit enough enumerators, people that we recruited that stayed within the communities.
Okay, so Jam, we're talking of over 4,000 unverified teachers in government payroll. So firstly, take us through how were they recruited?
I want to show you that these are teachers that have been active in the classroom. So when the Teaching Service Commission started recruitment from 2017-2018 academic year, the way the commission does this is that, according to policy, we're actually supposed to advertise, leave it open for people to apply. But the way the commission does it, because we found out there are so many volunteer teachers, very active, qualified, and trained, are in the classroom. So these have been volunteer teachers that have been very active in the classrooms. They have recommendations that they've been doing their work very well, because since 2017 that the commission has been doing recruitment, we've done recruitment for over 20,000 teachers. A matter of, well, now I have my PIN code, my salary runs in the bank, I can do what I feel like doing, which is actually not supposed to be the case.
Okay, so what's the next step?
So the next step is to get back. Of course, we are giving the next step, like I said, the next step would be to give our teachers the opportunity to prove that, first and foremost, they are actually going to the classrooms, and to regularize where they are, because it also has to corroborate with the existing pupil-teacher ratios in schools across the country. So we need the system to be regularized. We need it to be in a way that when I check the teacher records, I check teacher records management system for all teachers in the country. I check for Mr. Bangura, and the system tells me that Mr. Bangura is in Sapphire Court School. I can go to Sapphire Court School and meet Mr. Bangura there. Not a situation where Mr. Bangura is supposed to be in Sapphire Court School, but I go to Sapphire Court School, he's not there, and Mr. Bangura is in Lompa School, another part of the country, doing something else. That is the next step, to regularize our data system.
That was the Public Relations Officer, Teaching Service Commission, Jamie Victory Sanko, ending that interview with my colleague, Cynthia Kamara. Now, two of Freetown's oldest cemeteries, Moritown and Ascension Town cemeteries, are in deplorable conditions as thick grass continues to grow and cover the burial grounds. The situation has sparked frustration among residents and families of the deceased persons. Our reporter Mohamed Lamintori brings us more on the deteriorating conditions at Moritown and Ascension Town cemeteries.
Just like a bush, you understand? And a cemetery is supposed to be a place, where people come cherish the memories of their loved ones who have passed away.
Government or the council.
We are appealing to the government and authorities to clean this place. It's been neglected for long and needs urgent attention.
For make the proof and clean.
Concerns are mounting over the worsening state of two historic cemeteries in Freetown. Moritown and Ascension Town cemeteries are being covered by giant grasses. Residents say little or no maintenance is done here. Continuous rains have made the weeds grow rapidly. Families visiting the graves of loved ones have expressed sorrow and disappointment at the lack of care. Graves are barely visible beneath dense vegetation, and walkways have vanished into tangible underbrush. For many, these cemeteries are not just burial grounds, they are places of remembrance. Today, they resemble abandoned fields.
can watch in place. Let we see how they turn. We self not happy. There is a life after death.
It is painful. We come to honor our loved ones, but the place is covered in bush. It feels like they have been forgotten.
They for clean and fine, because they say godliness is next to cleanliness.
Without regular brushing or keep up, weeds have taken over, making it nearly impossible for visitors to locate graves or perform traditional rites. At Ascension Town Cemetery, the story is the same: overgrown grasses, block walkways, and a growing sense of abandonment.
This shouldn't be happening here. Even the East End Cemetery is in a similar state. These places deserve proper attention.
If you go and you see, you could not even say if people in their community they already take care of this bankroll.
Despite repeated appeals, there has been no official response from municipal authorities, the Freetown City Council. Some residents have begun organizing their own cleanup efforts, but they insist that long-term solutions must come from those responsible.
The same situation here at Ascension Town. It is very bushy. I spoke to the caretaker Mohammed Mara. He categorically informed me that he cannot see anything on camera, but he told me that it is over 4 months now and this place has not been cleaned by the authorities. And then he told me that if I want to say anything or I want to do anything, I should contact the media officer for the Freetown City Council. But it is a situation that calls for urgent action, because from what we can see, this is the last destination of every human, every soul who must be here on a single day. So it is better for us to ensure that the needful is being done. For SLBC, I am Mohammed Laminchwe, reporting from Ascension Town.
It's now time for our segments, and first up is the international news.
Welcome to the international news. I am Aminata Fofana. 8 people have been killed and more than 130 others were wounded in a barrage of Russian drones and missiles that struck several districts of Kiev and brought down an apartment block overnight, Ukrainian officials have said. A 6-year-old boy and his mother were among the dead, as more than 24 locations across the capital were hit. Mayor Vitaly Kilitsko said 12 children were among the wounded, the biggest number of children wounded in Kiev in one night since the full-scale war began. Russian attacks have continued despite US President Donald Trump's threats to impose tougher sanctions on Moscow if Putin does not agree to ceasefire by 8th August. Russia launched 309 drones and 8 cruise missiles during the night, according to Ukraine's Air Force. And although officials say air defenses did manage to destroy many of them, there were numerous hits, including from cruise missiles. Foreign Minister Adriel Sahiba said it was a horrible morning in Kiev and that there are still people under the rubble. A U.S. dentist who poisoned his wife has been sentenced to life in prison without parole after a Colorado jury found him guilty of murder and other charges. James Craig, 47, had been having an affair when he plotted to kill his wife, Angela Craig, in March 2023. After lacing his wife's protein shakes with arsenic, he gave her a fatal dose of cyanide while she lay ill in hospital, prosecutors said. Prosecutors also argued during a 2-week trial that the dentist felt trapped in his marriage but was facing financial troubles and did not want to divorce. Defense lawyers had argued that Angela Craig, who was then 43, died by suicide because she was heartbroken about her husband's constant affairs. The jury found Craig guilty of first-degree murder on Wednesday, along with other charges, including solicitation to commit murder resulting from his attempt to get a fellow jail inmate to kill a detective working on the case. The African Union has announced its rejection of the formation of a parallel government in Sudan by the so-called Tassel coalition, which is led by the Rapid Support Forces. In a statement, the AU called on member states of the African Union and international community to also reject the fragmentation of Sudan. The statement said the only government the African Union recognizes in the country, pending consensus arrangements that meets the aspirations of the Sudanese people, is the Transitional Sovereignty Council and the recently formed Civilian Transitional Government. The Peace and Security Council of the AU suspended Sudan following the October 25, 2021 coup. The bloc considered the announcement of a parallel government a serious threat to Sudan and the region, especially since most neighboring countries are fragile and vulnerable to chaos and division. She called on the African Union, the Arab League, and sister nations to go beyond mere condemnation, demanding that Sudan's suspension from the African Union be lifted, enabling it to return to its natural place within the African family as an active and partner in building peace and stability. And at least 22 people, including a police officer, have been killed and 200 others injured in protest against a rise in the price of fuel that began on Monday. Interior Minister Manuel Homen has said. Police say more than 1,200 people have also been arrested in what began as a strike by taxi drivers against the price hike and then escalated into one of the most widespread and disruptive waves of protest the country has seen in recent years. Many buildings have been looted or destroyed across the country, including supermarkets, shops, and banks. Ambulances, buses, and private vehicles have also been damaged during the unrest. The acts carried out by the protesters, worsened by the presence of infiltrators with criminal intentions, showed that the phenomenon had gone beyond a mere demand and now represents a threat to the public order, the presidency said. Earlier, President Lourenco had downplayed concerns over the decision to raise the price of diesel by more than 33%. It was introduced in early July as part of plans to remove fuel subsidies in the oil-rich nation. That is the international news. Thanks for watching.
That was Aminata Fofana with the international news. And next up is a business update.
Welcome to Business Updates, the segment that brings you the latest in business and its contributions towards improving the country's economy. I am Esther Suzanette Bassi. In today's edition, we are looking at Africell Samsung in partnership with MeCashbox has officially launched the Save to Buy platform to make online shopping easier for customers who do not have enough cash to purchase online products. Well, our business reporter, Suleiman Babatsouye, has the details.
Today we are here for one purpose, and that purpose is to find a solution for our customers. From our side, Africell, and from yours, MeCashbox, we're always finding solutions. For us, we're finding solutions that are tech-based, that are convenient, and that are financially feasible.
The MeCashbox Save to Buy platform and service, according to Chief Corporate Affairs Officer Africell, Joe Abbas Bangura, aligned with Africell's aim for safety inclusion, so the least man could get access to affordable technology. The MeCashbox Save to Buy platform, meant to ease the burden on customers, helps customers save money through the Google Play Store app and to develop customers' financial profile and buy products upfront.
This is why Save to Buy is important, because it's a solution that was designed for the Sierra Leonean market for people who can't afford to pay for products upfront or people who don't have access to credit, maybe because of the rigorous system it takes to get loans or credit.
The team also explained the steps involved in accessing, registering, and using the platform. It was confirmed that the platform was secured and free from scammers, with options available to prevent customers from debts, like paying either on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. In time, it was said that the platform would be extended to people who would want to save for school fees and marriage ceremony, among others. SLBC Business News, Sulaiman Babatsouye reporting.
Many thanks to Sulaiman Babature for that business updates. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Business News. Thanks for watching. Continue to stay glued.
That was the business news with Esther Susanette Bassi. Now to end the news, the main points again. Jimmy Batilo Songa becomes a national chairman of the Sierra Leone People's Party. The Youth in a Politics and Peacebuilding project phases out with significant achievements after 2 years of successful implementation in 5 districts. And flooding in the capital city results in the destruction of numerous houses and properties. That's how we end this morning edition of the news. I have been here to be great. Have a wonderful morning.
God but Allah. There is no God but Allah. Muhammadu, his messenger, fountain of honor and majesty. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha.
Today is Friday, the first day of August 2025. Good morning and welcome to the breakfast show. Good morning, Sierra. This is the show that starts your day with news, analysis, and views on current happenings. I am your presenter, Emmanuel Samuel. A quote of the day is from a Ghanaian statesman, Kwame Nkrumah, and it says, "The best way of learning to be an independent sovereign state is to be an independent sovereign state." This one is interesting. And coming up, Jimmy Batilusunga elected SLPP National Chairman at 14th Delegate Conference. The Anti-Corruption Commission and the Sierra Leone Police start a series of training workshops aimed at mainstreaming integrity in the operations of law enforcement agencies. And we bring you updates on happenings in the football family. Well, these stories plus more we will get in the next 1 hour, where we invite you to participate by sending a text message to the number displayed on your screen or join us on Facebook at SLBC Live. The program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Well, the program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Well, let's start the discussion proper to one of our headline stories that has to do with integrity. Well, the leadership of the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, and the Sierra Leone Police on Monday, 28 July 2025, started a series of training workshops aimed at mainstreaming integrity in the operations of law enforcement agencies. The initiative aims to strengthen ethical conduct, promote anti-corruption practices, and foster collaborative governance. It comes in response to the recent Afro-Barometer report, which states that citizens perceive the police as the most corrupt institution. Well, in the studio, we have been joined by the PRO of the ACC, Sylvanus Blake, and the elder of the Sierra Leone Police Media, ACP, Brema Kamara. Good morning, the two gentlemen, and welcome to Good Morning Sierra Leone.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I'll start with the ACC, Mr. Blake. Firstly, people want to know why you guys decided to start such integrity training, this type of trainings.
Thank you so much. So we are the lead agents in the fight against corruption, and we have the three-pronged approach to the fight against corruption. One which is critical is preventing corruption, and in preventing corruption, as it continues to mutate and change and rebrand, we too must continue to rearrange and recalibrate. So the Sierra Leone Police is a natural, I refer to our partnership as a natural partnership that must always survive. We are all in the business of law enforcement, and the role of the police is super critical to statehood. So when these reports come out, we don't go into scientific assessment of the report. Who we are interviewed, who are they, why did they say what they have said. Public perception is critical to the fight against corruption. So the Afrobarometer, for example, has remained a critical tool, informative tool in the fight against corruption. Year in, year out, the report tells the people of Sierra Leone and us in the business of fighting corruption what's the perception of the public as to who is corrupt. It tells us equally how has the ACC been performing in the fight against corruption. So be it critical, positive or otherwise, we always look forward to it, and we have fed on it. We'll continue to feed on it and to plan properly. So when the last report came out for 2024 in June, we received it. I think our partners received, and at this stage we are thankful to the leadership at the Sierra Leone Police. They received theirs, read it, and at leadership level, the IGP, Mr. Fayasel, was interested in knowing what can be done to improve on this perception. 1,200 Sierra Leoneans were interviewed. This is what they see. It pays nothing to start to argue what they have said. Perceptions are informed by what we may have interacted with, what may have happened to us, or what they may have told us. So you don't argue somebody's perception. If that perception negatively points a picture about you, it's your duty to change your image by posturing yourself in a more positive way, so that the next person who has to give a perception about you may give a serious and positive perception. So that was an opportunity we did not take lightly. Back and forth engagements we had with the leadership of the police, the leadership at the ACC, Francis Benkaifala and Augustine Gobi. We are key in this, and so we agreed that we must continue to talk and to train our colleagues, let them realize, one, what some people have said about them. 1,200. Remember, that survey represents Sierra Leoneans. So when you hear us saying Sierra Leoneans have said, it's not like every Sierra Leonean among the 1 million plus we are interviewed. No, but 1,200 have said so. And so they did not only say the police. For example, if you look at the report, it has said police 73%, business executives 59%, parliament 49%, as low as religious leaders 10%. So we all want to see efforts to help improve public perception, and so the training we have started anchoring that you spoke about is aimed at mainstreaming integrity in the operations of law enforcement agencies. We went beyond the police because the police was named in the research, but then not only the police as law enforcement agents interact with the public. What about road safety corps? They play a critical role that the public see every day. All these arrests here and there cannot be executed by police alone. They too arrest. They too, we've seen videos, and sometimes they call us to tell us what they have done. So they are all part of this training, and we have started it here, and the objective is to tell them what are the do's and don'ts and the repercussions.
Okay, let me bring in ACP Boima, Media One. I want to know, or the public might want to know, of what is the importance of what to use such a training is to the police, especially at a time when you guys are in this transitioning period, moving from a force to a service. How do you think this training will mold your personnel and also help them to behave in a way that the public perception will improve about the place?
Yeah, two things are important. Firstly, you spoke about the aspect of transforming from a force to a service. You know, when you are operating as a service, it is people-centered. And if it is people-centered, it means we want the people to be at the center of whatever you do, and then you want to win their trust, you want to gain their attention at all times. And so, if that is the case, if they now see from their own eyes, from their own lenses, that you are corrupt, it means you need to go back to the drawing board, work with institutions like we've done with the ACC. They have their own mandate, they have their own responsibility. We are all in the aspect, we are all in the business of law enforcement, but they have specific mandate, we also have specific mandate, but there are areas we interface, and for this particular one, we are interfacing because it has to do with corruption. And so we see the training as something that will help us to transform accordingly from a force, which was more or less, we were like projecting ourselves as being the best, force for good, to a service wherein we have to serve the people, and then we have to let them know that what we are doing for them. Because at the end of the day, if you look at what is prescribed by law, maintenance of law and order, and protect lives and property, they are all people-oriented. If you are protecting lives, you are protecting property, you are protecting them for the people. You are protecting the people and protecting what they have as their property. So we consider the training to be a kind of yardstick that will lead us into what we are transitioning to. I mean, having the people on board to help us in what we do. Like I normally tell people, there is no way we can succeed in what we are doing as police officers if we don't have the support of the people. Because there is no way you can have the police to be somewhere or to be everywhere at the same time. There is no way. We are just about 15,000, and then we have a population of over 7 million. So which means the people could be everywhere at all times. And so if you have them on board, they are supporting us, they are giving us information. I mean, that one is going to help us greatly to do our own job. So if they now say, we are seeing you differently, you are very corrupt, 73%, we are not going to put up the fight. Like he said, we are not putting up a fight. So we call them, we spoke, we met at that level, at the highest level. We discussed the issues, and then they agreed that what we do is provide training. Sometimes it works. It is possible somebody, he doesn't know he doesn't know that what he was doing was wrong. He only thought, he called it one analogy. Somebody say, oh, now this one thing I do, I make, he give me this thing because I do this kind of fine thing. Understand? It should not happen. It is unethical, it is not professional. So by providing this training, it means you are not going to be put in a kind of level where you will expect that if you go out there, you know what is good, you know what is bad, and then what we expect of you is to do that which is good rather than indulging what is bad. So the training is good for us, and that one is going to help us. It's going to help us as an institution, and it's going to help us as individuals within the institution.
So okay, let me bring in Blake. Blake, what are the key or the thematic areas that this particular training is looking into? Because the public may want to know, because some people are watching you now, they may believe they will take your word for granted, saying that in an instance tomorrow maybe they see a police officer make or conducting him or herself in such a way, they will recall saying that, oh, the ACC said that they conducted training for the police in this area, so why are they conducting themselves in the opposite when this is not the way they should behave?
So thank you very much. So first and foremost, we will always say ignorance of the law is no excuse, but then we have a traditional obligation, moral and official, to continue to talk. So key among the 4 thematic areas, first and foremost, we presented on the concept of bribery, its forms, and the offenses that are directly related with the concept of bribery as provided for in the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008 as amended. Because they need to know, some of the times we consider bribe to be just money. Sometimes, in fact, all of the times it goes beyond money. You can be bribed with material things, you can be bribed emotionally. People can treat you, it's a bribe. Treating a public officer is an offense. Give you food, take you to a pub. No. Some unhealthy and other relationships can all constitute a bribe, as long as the objective is to encourage you to not do what you are to do, or to encourage you to do what you are not supposed to do. So as long as it is aimed at micromanaging your official, the dispensation of your official function as a law enforcement agent or as a public officer, it can constitute a bribe. So it was very interesting. That was anchored by one of our finest prosecutors at the ACC, Joel Dintali ESQ, who has vast experience in prosecuting, and it was a practical lecture. We actually anchored a presentation on mainstreaming integrity in the operations of law enforcement agents. This was interesting. What do you understand as integrity? And from that training, we all learned, because that was presented by the coordinator of operations at the ACC, Mr. Patrick Sandy, stemming from his experience over the years at the ACC. It was very interesting. We realized that integrity is personal. Institutions can do what they may want to put these systems in place to make the transparency and accountability a key. But then it is your duty as a person working in that institution to nurture your integrity and to protect it. Because it is when you are confronted with a decision and you know what you should do and should not do, are you going to do the right thing? Nobody is there most times. It is left between you, your conscience, or what we call conscience. It's some sub part of your integrity. And then of course we drilled them on the third concept, which was how can police and law enforcement break the chain of corruption. Let us, with that package was presented by my humble self. The objective was to let us know that where there is corruption, no one wins. The perpetrator of corruption is equally a victim of corruption. Because in as much as you are a police officer, you are a road safety cop collecting bribes from people you interact with, there are health workers who are corrupt like you. They are going to take bribe from you too, or from your wife, or from your child. There are teachers like you. There are other public officers like you. So we have to break the chain, and breaking the chains begins with you, not pointing fingers. You stop it, and then you'll be able to garner enough courage to tell others to stop. And then the fourth presentation, which was anchored by the police, was challenges and impacts of corruption on law enforcement. The work they do. How has corruption impacted? And this was very practical, because the senior colleagues who presented brought practical encounters of how they've seen their colleagues conduct themselves unprofessionally and how that impacted on the morale of others who are really doing a decent job. I will say not every police officer is corrupt, but reports like this, perception surveys like this, will take away the respect of even those who are serving diligently and patriotically. So they are not only committing an offense against the state and against people they interact with, but they are equally destroying the morals and the integrity and the patriotic standard of those who've chosen to love country and serve. So it was very interesting, it was very practical, and the issues came to the fore, and we were able to discuss them.
Okay, let me bring in Media One. Media One, you heard what Blake just said, the thematic areas that the trainings are based on, and I know that this type of trainings, you guys will not be able to get all of the officers to get them to come to such a training. So as the leadership or leaders who are part of these trainings, what mechanisms have you put in place to cascade the information, this type of sensitive information, to the least rank officer in that village working for the cell, please?
Yeah, two words. We're going to roll out, and equally so we're going to replicate. So what do I mean? We are not going to concentrate here in Freetown, because we've done the one for Freetown. Freetown East and Freetown West, we've done that one. But we targeted the command team. Talking about the command team, and they are the ones who are placed in charge of rural personnel, and they now have the responsibility, like you said, to replicate what they got from that training to the others who are down there. Because for us, we normally have what we call a monster parade. Every morning, 7:45, we converge, we meet, we discuss, and then we do our postings for the day, or maybe we do our deployment for the day. You are going to be the lockup orderly, you are going to be this, you are going to be involved in that, but we make sure on our parades, monster parade, we speak to our men and women about what they are supposed to do. So those guys who attended found on behalf of the divisions, found on behalf of those stations and posts, they are now going to replicate the information to those ones who didn't attend 2 months prepared. And then after which we are going to make sure now we roll it out to the provinces. So we are done with Freetown. At some point, possibly this month to next month, we have to be in the province. We have to go over to the provinces, northeast, northwest, southern region, and then the eastern region, and then we have to do the same for them, and then we now expect them to also replicate whatever they could have been trained on during their monster parades, as the case may be. So we are going to roll out, and then we are also talking about the replication. So it's rolling out and replication.
Okay, so continue to stay with us. It is ACP Bohem Kamara talking on the training, and the certain place in partnership with the ACC that is ongoing, the training series. Well, we move on to another issue that has to do with sports. Well, so the football family, over the past 24 hours or 48 hours or so, there has been several happenings within the football sector. But we have a sports reporter here with us, Abu Kabia, to give us some updates. Abu, good morning and welcome to the Morning.
Yeah, good morning and thank you so much for having me.
We know that some weeks back or in last month, the ethics committee, after their interview session with the different aspirants for the SLF presidency, they said Aminata and Thomas Daddy Dwema were unfit for this position based on integrity or ethics issue, and they were barred from contesting. But Aminata, from the CAS arbitration, she has been given the rights to contest, and the SLFA has acknowledged that. So we want you to give the public updates on this particular issue.
Yeah, the SLFA, before they set up the committee, they went back and forth regarding some arrangements. The ordinary Congress, the initial one did not hold at the Radisson Blue. They held another one again at the Catco. That was successfully conducted, and the elected members to serve in various committees, and the ethics committee, the electoral committee, and the other committee as well. So they constituted the electoral committee, and they went through their vetting process to get the names ready for the election. And as a result of their findings, they disqualified the incumbent Thomas Daddy Brima and that of Aminata Bangura from contesting, and Aminata, she took the case to CAS, and CAS gave the ruling, and they reinstated her to continue to run for the presidency, and tomorrow she will be among the people running for the presidency along Babadi Kamara and that of Alaju Mauba, another experienced football administrator as well. So so much happened in terms of the development itself regarding football in Sierra Leone, and the delegation list is finally out, the delegates list, and they've published the names of 57 individuals, delegates that will go to the process. There are names that will have to go to certain procedures as well in terms of fines. The ethics committee level of them, and they have to ensure that they fulfill all of those before they will go into probably take part in the process. So it's a very challenging one, and I'm sure at the end of the day they will have something good. And for me, it's a very big moment for football. Sierra Leone football at crossroads, and having a new leadership, and from the incumbent Thomas Daddy Brima, so much regarding the event itself. But they've been able to manage themselves well, particularly the various committees, electoral committee. They went through the names submitted for the delegates list, and they nominated names, and they went through those names, and they vetted those names, and at the end of the day they published the names. But there are concerns regarding some names listed in that particular list. So it's a very big one, but I'm sure at the end of the day they will have to resolve as a football family, and for them to go to the process itself. The issue of Aminata again, another big test for the football family. Well, what I think they should do is they should try to see how they will adjust their affairs at home, so that at the end of the day they will not resort to issues of class and the like, because if they can organize themselves well, that will be good for the development of the game. But I'm sure this is a learning curve for the various committees and the SLFA as well for subsequent elections. And so 3 individuals will be vying for the presidency, and you have other ex-official members. And for the ladies who are within the ex-official list, one of them, the one that will emerge, will be the head of women's football. And the current holder of that position is this Ajay Matulai Kamad, owner of Ramke Football Club. You've got Musupere Bango as well. She is also vying for that position, an interesting position. And we just hope at the end of the day we'll have a fair contest, and at the end of the day we'll have a better result regarding the process. But all roads will be leading to the Gateway Hotel tomorrow in Lungi for the election itself, and for the football family to have a decent elective congress and to choose various individuals that represent the football family in various positions.
So Abdul, before Thomas Daddy Brahma and Aminata we are ruled out by the ethics committee. There was this tension around social media and all sorts in the football family. Thomas Daddy Brahma, Aminata and Babadi. Who will win, who will not win, all of those things coming out. But when those two were ruled out, the tension died out. And bringing Aminata again, when I saw it, and I've seen certain things have started coming out on social media. So do you think Aminata's coming will create that much of an impact, or will shake Babadi that much?
Yes, of course, because in every election there's always going to be a winner and a loser, and that is inevitable. I'm sure the coming in of Aminata will spark a new momentum, and I'm sure you've got 57 delegates. She has her own delegates, and Babadi also, and the rest of the other candidates as well. We've got Alajo Mauba. So for me, it's going to be a very tough race, not an easy ride anymore. As predicted initially, it's going to be a tough race because the election is about the numbers. So if you have the majority, then there is every likelihood for you to emerge as the winner. So we need to wait and see what's for others. Everything is being played out on social media. So we need, as sport journalists, we need to be cautious because misinformation has been the order of the day. People are just putting certain information here and there that they've gone to cast. They even tried the local courts and they dismissed that matter as well. The incumbent, Thomas Daddy Brahma and that family, they went to the local courts and they were unable to get the results for that particular test they went through. So for me, it's a very difficult moment. I just want the delegates for them to think the development aspects of the game, because at the end of the day, if Sierra Leone football is to transform, they should think the development aspects of the game. They should not think self. We know we are fine individuals who are contesting, but the simple fact remains, if they want to transform football, they should think the development aspects of the game. Now, there are lots of problems regarding Sierra Leone football in terms of administrative aspects of it. In the league, the national league, the league will be the last to conclude among the other regions, among other countries in the region. For example, the female team, like a football club, they concluded the league at a very late pace. Imagine the other teams like the Tamil Girls from Liberia, they ended theirs some time ago. So you see, so the time for them to prepare now for continental competition is limited. If they have unlimited time to prepare, then they will have something good. Now imagine they are going to play for a slot for the African Women's Champions League qualifiers for WAFU Zone A. They are playing by zone. You've got Zone A, you've got Senegal, you've got teams from other regions within the Zone A. So for Sierra Leone, you've got Ramke as a representative. They concluded the league at a late phase. They are going there, not enough time to rest. By August 3rd or so, they will commence the qualifying for that particular, just a slot. 9 teams, including Ramke, will contest for a slot for the African Champions League, the Women's African Champions League. So this is a very, very tough process for them. Well, I want to commend our female footballers equally. Despite all of these challenges, they've been able to showcase to the world that Sierra Leone is blessed, or is awash with gifted players. For example, Koba Zainab Brahima, who is making the headlines on the global stage. She scored 4 goals against Flora FC in the Champions League women's qualification for our team, Riga FC, the Latvian club. So imagine Cuba is scoring this amount of goals. It tells you that Cuba is coming from a football-oriented country. She is coming from a country that is blessed with gifted footballers. So for me, she is on record now as the first Sierra Leonean female footballer to grace that prestigious stage and to score 4 goals. Imagine Cuba scored all the goals for our team. So what I think they should do as a football family, they should try to devoid of all the very many problems. They should try to see how they will come together for the development of the game. You know, you've got individuals who are passionate about the development of the game, who've got finances to help develop youngsters. Let us focus on developing the game. You can only have a better national team if the local league is that better, if the local league is structured in a way that will meet the needs of the time. So for us, let's focus on developing the youngsters. We should go back to the schools, go back to the other areas. Youth football is the for me, the solution. That will serve as a magic bullet to transform football in Sierra Leone.
Okay, so continue to stay with us is Abu Kabia, Vivad Sports reporter, giving us updates on activities of the football family. Well, we move over to health tips, and in today's health tips, we take a look at signs and symptoms of brain tumors. When you have recurring severe headaches, you might worry something's wrong, like a brain tumor. While your odds of developing a cancerous brain tumor are small, less than 1%, there are symptoms that can impact your daily life. Here are some warning signs of brain tumors.
When you have a severe headache, you might worry something's wrong, like a brain tumor. However, your odds of developing a cancerous brain tumor are small, less than 1%. Symptoms of a brain tumor can have a major impact on your daily life. However, some brain tumors might not produce any symptoms at all. Some major warning signs of a brain tumor include: 1. Difficulty with balance or coordination. Your ability to move can be affected by a brain tumor. Brain stem tumors especially can lead to clumsy movements or balance problems. 2. Speech difficulties. You might develop slurred speech or speech that's hard to understand. At other times, you might also have trouble finding the right words to say. 3. Changes in your personality. Frontal lobe tumors can cause happy, bubbly people to become emotionally dulled. If you're normally quiet, these tumors can cause you to become more talkative. 4. Changes in vision. A tumor affecting the occipital lobe, which controls your eyesight, might affect your vision. Blurred vision or double vision are also brain tumor symptoms. 5. Seizures. A seizure causes abnormal movements or behaviors. Seizures can cause serious physical injuries or brain damage. And 6. Numbness, weakness, or tingling. In the case of a tumor, you'll feel these things in one side or part of your body or face. Usually, a headache or confusion are your body's way of telling you to hydrate or sleep more. However, ongoing, severe headaches, especially in the morning, can be a brain tumor symptom. Brain tumor headaches tend to persist for more than a few days and may be associated with nausea or vomiting. If you experience one or several of these brain tumor signs, see your doctor. However, changes in your health can also be a symptom of something serious. If you start having unexpected or unexplained health issues, don't wait to get checked out. Early detection of brain tumors is key to a successful treatment plan and just might save your life.
Welcome back. The program you're watching is Salon Live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Well, I hope all of us have learned something new about signs and symptoms of brain tumors. Well, we still have the two gentlemen with us in the studio, Slbc Tv and ACP Brahma. ACP, before we leave you, I want to ask this question because it all borders on integrity. You just said that earlier. You said to cascade information, you will not be able to reach everybody at the same time, but you do have muster parade on a daily basis, and in those muster parade, duties and responsibilities are given to specific officers, and informations are being carried, they are being cascaded to the officer. So I want to know how firm are the messages from the senior personnel to the junior personnel in these muster parades, because that person out there might be saying, if indeed they do have these briefings every morning, then we do not believe that some police officers will be conducting themselves in the way that they should not do when they know it's wrong.
You know, what we did in the first place was to get ACC to come around, and they got it from the horse's mouth. So, if you are a supervisor, you know what we normally call, well, maybe it may not be the context, but we have what we call vicarious liability. If you are the boss there and then you have your junior, you have this responsibility to ensure that you seem to be doing the right thing. And where you fail now to do the supervision, you omitted in your responsibility and he continues to do the wrong thing. Understand? You are going to be held responsible for that one. You normally have that one until the police understand for the area of lack of supervision. So that was why we decided that we have to bring them on board so that they are trained, and that we now expect them to go and replicate the information. So if they fail to do that which they are supposed to do by passing on the right information and by enforcing those ones, then they are going to be held culpable at the end of the day if anything goes wrong. So they were warned, and we spoke to them directly, and then like he said, we had frank discussion with them. The team we had from ACC, including my brother who is there, I mean, they were upfront with the issues. They were very upfront with the information. They provided the required information. And so we now expect them, if you are a commander and then you are there, you are talking to your men on parade, you have to be very firm. When you look at our vision, we say we can be friendly, we can be fair, and equally so, but we have to be very firm in whatever we do. So we expect them to be firm, and so that at the end of the day, we get these guys who do interface with members of the public on a daily basis, in whatever circumstances, to go out there and do the right thing. So we are going to be firm, like I said. There is no way we can get all of them together, because otherwise things might go wrong. If you take all the police officers, you take them to a stadium, so you want to address all of them, who is going to be out there doing the job? So we cannot get all of them in one place to address them on the same issue. So this is why we are targeting those guys who have those command responsibility. We provide them with the information, we bring in the ACC, we provide the required information. It becomes the onus now rests on them to make sure that they pass on information. But if they fail to do it, and then we have this police discipline regulations of 2001, that is one aspect of it, it is lack of supervision. Understand? And then rule 1647, which is the last one, where normally we say is the omnibus clause. Understand? It says we talk about conduct, acts or practice that is prejudicial to good order and discipline. So if you fail to do that which you're supposed to do, which is omission in law, then it comes back to haunt you, because we are going to hit you very hard that you are not supervising and that you are not doing your job. So we expect them to be firm, and we expect them to ensure that the guys are doing the right thing at the right time.
So finally, ACP, in all of this, at the end of the day, will the public start to see the police conducting themselves in a more different way as opposed to previous years?
You know, whole habits, they say they die hard. I don't know whether I've got it right. But by continuously talking to our men on parade and being firm, like you made mention of that word, I'm sure little by little, those guys who are indulging in things which are not supposed to indulge in, that have led us to the report we have, I'm sure little by little they move away from those ones, and then we'll now begin to see the public appreciating the work of the police.
So thank you very much, ACP Boyama. And shortly, in an instance now that you've done all of the series of trainings, and then you started to see, or people bring in evidence, facts to you that there are certain police officers that are involved in A and B. Also be now the move of the ACC.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So first and foremost, let the public know that this engagement is not connoting that we have dismantled the law enforcement role we can play against any person who a legitimate complaint may lay against. So all officers and all public officers, including police officers, road safety officers, all, including those who have not benefited from this training, should conduct themselves professionally and within the confines of the law. Even in the course of the training, if a complaint can come and that complaint has merit, the person will be held accountable. So we are doing this in all fairness to continue to imbibe integrity in all of us. We are doing this in all fairness to continue to trigger frank conversations between us as partners, as law enforcement agents, on how we can make it better. We have a sacred duty. He mentioned something about how some people get employed in public service. If you are a police officer, a road safety cop, because you are looking desperately for a job, and you don't have passion for law enforcement, you don't have patriotism in your heart, it will be difficult for you, because the jobs we are all doing are sacrificial jobs. There must be an inner drive in you to enforce law. You must have passion for it, to ensure you carry yourself professionally. So that duty is on us, and there can never be an excuse, regardless of the circumstances. The commissioner was very precise. We are aware of conditions of service. We are aware that our compatriots, all of us, are working in sometimes very difficult conditions. But Emmanuel, you cannot tell any judge, if you are arraigned before him on charges of corruption, that it is because I am poorly paid, or I am not paid at all, or I was assigned to a duty post and there were no resources to work with. That is why I extorted money from members of the public. That can never be an excuse. So we are under duty as public officers to work professionally, work within ethics, and work within the law. And what we are rendering in partnership with the leadership of the police is to remind our colleagues, but that is not to say that there is an excuse now. While we are being trained, if you have done it before, you are doing it now, nothing will happen. No, there is no amnesty in the fight against corruption. You only benefit from an amnesty if you have not committed corruption. But the day an evidence comes, we can hold people accountable.
Okay, so thank you very much, E.E. Sylvanus Blake, and also the previous person that you are speaking to is ACP Boema Kamara. They were talking on series of leadership, integrity training the ACC and the Sierra Leone Police, are embarking on to ensure that integrity and the way the public perceive the police to be corrupt, to ensure to change that dynamics, because they are in a transition process moving from a force to a service. So wish you well in this endeavor, especially Sierra Leone Police. Well, thank you very much. Well, we still have with us my colleague in the studio, Abu Kabia. Abu Kabia, aside of the SLFA, this election, since last night onto this morning, I've seen on social media that Musa Nwakama, which we usually call Musa Tumbo, has terminated his own contract in Turkey, and Boeing has also put out a press release or a letter to say they have also annulled his contract with them. So can you update the public about this?
Yeah, and the contract in Tunisia, very disappointing moment for Sierra Leone football. Musa Tumbo has been a very fine player. He's a firebrand footballer who knows how to score goals, who is so clinical in front of goal, and the annulment of his contract is cited spiritual and psychological problems, that he is unfit at this very moment to continue with the contract. So based on that, the club reached out to Borrangers, and Borrangers equally acknowledged receipt of the correspondence from the club CCS in Tunisia that Musa Tumbo has stated XYZ that he is no longer fit to continue with the contract, and they equally expected that in every right. So Musa, at the end of the day, the club confirmed, and Voyagers equally confirmed that yes, Musa Tumbo has discarded his contract and he is no longer a player of CCS in Tunisia. So this is a very big blow to Sierra Leone football. Musa Tumbo has been a saving grace to Sierra Leone football. He scored that exciting AFCON goal against the Elephants of Ivory Coast, the AFCON of the champions of Africa, knowing that African Cup of Nations. So, and for me, it's a big problem that we must deal with as a nation. We must not let this issue slide away. What we should do as a nation is to engage ourselves, football administrators, those who are into coaching, those who are into other aspects of the game, so that they will find a time, a dialogue, to see how best they will try to cancel certain players. Maybe there are issues they are going through. For those in the West who are playing football, there are certain periods that they will refer you to a therapist for certain situations. Now, you don't look fit to play football. Let's say how we can put you aside. You go to certain sessions too with a therapist. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to refine your character. You'll be able to mold your character again so that you fit to join others. So Musa, this is not the first time. This is not the first time. So it's so frustrating for a footballer with high hopes to emerge as one of the finest players at some point in Sierra Leone football going down the drain. You know, it's a very big problem. Musa, whenever Musa is around the local league, he's always comfortable. When it comes around, he's okay, he's good, he's fine, he's loved by many. For me, Musa is loved and admired by locals, from people who are selling along the roadsides to those who are doing other things in life. But that's not the case. Musa needs to go out there and explore. He needs to go out there and have a better moment like other players who are. Now, for him to make fortune in football, there's so much fortunes in football nowadays. Look, for example, Jumaba. Jumaba is making millions. So for me, it's so sad. It's a sad moment. I just hope as the nation will learn from this, particularly those who are currently vying for various positions within the football family. Think about how you can help our Sierra Leonean footballers. They are just going out there. They don't have little or no knowledge regarding contracts and like. There are things they should try to educate players on. Contract, the importance of certain contracts. How will you conduct yourself out there? I think we need a whole lot of things to ensure we set right for us to probably reposition Sierra Leone football. For I want to end on a very important note that delegates, please, as you go out there to elect officials that will serve in various positions, think about the development of the game, not self, the growth of Sierra Leone football. This is a make or break. It's now or never. Choose Sierra Leone football over self. Thank you so much, Manu, for having me.
Okay, so thank you very much, our own revered sports reporter, Abu Kabia, for giving us that succinct or in-depth updates on updates around football in the country. Well, we move over to another headline story of us today that has to do with politics. The Sierra Leone People's Party has elected Jimmy Batilo Sunga as its new national chairman following the party's 14th National Delegate Conference. The election took place at the Freetown International Center in Freetown, where delegates from across the country convened to participate in the event. Mr. Sunga, who previously served as the National Organizing Secretary, won the chairmanship in a competitive race against Engineer Amara Kane. For more on this, I have been joined in the studio by Cynthia Kamara. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Cynthia, before going into any other conversation, we just wanted to give us, some just brief updates on the results. Because there are some people, they might be seeing some results on social media, but just want you to give us the official results, some breakdown.
Okay, so I'll start with the leading one, which is the position of the chairman, where we have two aspirants, Jimmy Batilo Songa and that of Engineer Amara Kane. Jimmy Batilo Songa emerged as winner with 618 votes, and that of Engineer Amara Kane with 396 votes. The position for the deputy chairman, we had four aspirants: Robert Kenema, who emerged as winner with 380 votes, Honorable Veronica Kadisise with 265 votes, Alhaji Alpha Kalon with 210 votes, and that of Abu Abu with 195 votes. 5 people vied for the Secretary General position. Paran Tawali emerged as the winner with 849 votes, Sajo Aziz Kama 101 votes, Fatmata Kaitibi, 54 votes. Robert Chakanda, 37 votes, and Philip Tete Tonne with 9 votes. Similarly, Deputy Secretary General, we had Sheku Nuiture with 268 votes and Jennifer Lahai Thompson with 264 votes. And we saw there was a bit of drama there because we saw Jennifer in tears because of the slight difference in the vote cast. And that of the Deputy Organizing Secretary, Mahawa Aliyu, emerged as the winner with 399 votes. And we actually there were 8 aspirants for this particular position. And the public relations position, there were 6 aspirants, and Moses Mambo emerged as winner with 718 votes. And the treasurer, we had 2 people as well, but Judith Kose emerged as winner with 546 votes.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and thank you for that update. Well, viewers, from the updates on the results, let's get synopsis, or let me say a brief statement, statement from the national chairman of the Sierra Leone People's Party, Jimmy Batilu Sunga, his acceptance speech. Just a brief about of it.
Excellency, the President and leader of the Sierra Leone People's Party, the Vice President, Deputy Leader of the Sierra Leone People's Party, Madam First Lady, the Mother of this Republic, Chairman, Chairman, Dr. Prince Alexander, Mr. Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all in the name of the Sierra Leone People's Party. I say one country, one people. I want to use this opportunity to say special thanks to God Almighty for making this day possible. A profound thanks and deep gratitude to His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, the Chairman of ECOWAS, President Julius Malema. Thank you. Thank you. The President showed me in London and decided for me to come back home to come and organize and coordinate the 2028 election. I'm here today because of your mentorship. I will remain loyal to you and the Sierra Leone People's Party. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to say special thanks to the outgoing Chairman, Dr. Prince Alexander. Can you rise up, please? Please give him a big round of applause. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ali. You laid foundation for young people like Jimmy Batilu Sunga to strive. We are going to continue with your legacy. And to my special friend, Obono Napoleon Roma, where are you? Yes, Mr.
Well, that was an excerpt from speech from the national chairman of the SLPP party, Jimmy Batilu Sunga. Well, Cynthia, briefly, well, after the results were announced, what can you say about all of it that happened within that hall? Because, you know, before the results were announced, there were so many talks around. But what can you say after everything happened?
Okay, so thank you very much. Honestly, I was expecting something to happen because at one point I took my bag closer to me. I was on standby in case of anything, but they actually proved me wrong because after the results were announced, Mr. President Bill admonished delegates, you know, to stay calm, to prioritize the party. You know, everything was in place, orderly manner. There was no fighting, you know. It was just excitement. The atmosphere was filled with jubilation and all. After the result, as we mentioned earlier, before the results were announced, there were a lot of tensions. You know, people had their own thought of what will happen and all. But after the result was announced, everybody, you know, embraced each other. The atmosphere was peaceful, and you know, it was emulating anyway.
Okay, so thank you very much. Viewers would have loved to go deeper or talk more about it, but because of time, we will not be able to do that. We'll move over to another segment, which is a review of the headlines of our local tabloid. So just a few for today. I start the ball rolling with the Africa 24 newspaper that says, can APC allow Sam Sumana? Also inside this edition, President Bill remarks sparks outage. Minister confirms nationwide court on fires. Our politicians have failed the people. This story plus more you get in the Africa 24. And the next one is the Pyramid newspaper. It says Sludge pays courtesy call on former president. Batilu Sunga elected SLPP national chairman. Carl demands both into ghost payroll scandal. This story plus more you get in the Pyramid. And the last one I will take now for today is the Awareness Times newspaper, which opposes the banner headline that says, as a right on social media to celebrate, President Bill is jubilant over convention. False reports on EU and UK visas revocations. Reaches envoy honors Sierra Leone digital reformer. Human Rights Commission Sierra Leone ECOWAS court seek joint strategy to enforce judgment. This stories plus more you get in the Awareness Times newspaper. Well, viewers, we have to inform you that all of the headlines we've just read, they do not reflect the views of the SLBC, but we are just merely reviewing the headlines of our local tabloid to promote the news business of our local tabloids. Well, to every good thing must come to an end. This is how we got the curtain of today's edition of Good Morning Sierra Leone. I want to say a very big thank you to my studio guests, and also thank you to YouTube viewers. Thank you to the production crew, and the program was produced by my own revered producer, Daphne Zainab Kamara. Until we meet again next week, Tata, I have been Emmanuel Samoa.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.